Dome got off to a late start. Had a little delay in getting the umpire out here. But the playoffs begin tonight. So it's win or go home. One game tonight, couple of games tomorrow, and then it'll finish up with the Final Four on Wednesday. So it should be very interesting now that we're in the playoffs to see what happens. We got the Dummies versus Goodwood tonight, kicking the playoffs off. And we got a new thing for you. Let's give it a quick whirl. And you can see here we got a little bit of a replay opportunity now. So we'll see how that pans out. Never used it before. Could be a little strange, but we'll try to maybe replay a couple of these for you as we go on tonight. And leading off, it's going to be Joey Agardo. And then Martin Rieger will be coming up. So we're just underway. We'll get to the rules for you newbies, but we are underway. And so this league is going to wrap up this session of it. And there's a high fly ball to right field circling the wagons, and making the catch out there is the right fielder, Joey Diaz. So that's how the game's going to begin. And I got to pay attention. The replays only go back 10 seconds. So I got to get used to maybe clicking that button a little bit, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe it'll be useful, maybe not. We'll see. So second hitter goes deep. That ball's got a chance, and it's gone. So we'll show you the replay of the first home run of the ball game. So just one more thing I guess I got to be aware of here today. So adding a little more to my plate. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it if I do it right. That was a no-brainer. You knew it was out, so it was easier to hit the replay button. And they do an interesting thing here as Chris Rieger steps in. We used other multicam software, but when they showed you the replay, they kept the original audio on it. And theoretically, this particular replay allows the announcer to still announce. So there's a ground ball handled by Jeremy Fowler for out number 2. So Dummy's early lead brings up Vito Iovino. So Vito, of course, a flashback guy. So these teams did have a little more BP than we normally see. They don't have the scoreboard on, so and there's a sinking line drive caught by the right fielder for out number 3. So good job there by the left fielder, Colin Farley. And fortunately, I did not hit the replay button. So we head to the bottom of the first, 1-0 Dummies. So it's going to be Mike Trump leading off, Matt Scott and Julian Russell. First 3 scheduled hitters here for Goodwood. Those of you checking us out, this is Chicago's 16-inch style softball. We are indoors at the Rosemont Dome. It's all turf. 210 down the lines, 235 to center. Very short fence. So we see a lot of ground rule doubles because of the short dimensions. Smallest field we play on, you can only hit 4 home runs. 60-foot bases, leadoff can't steal, 38 from the rubber to the point of home plate. 6-12 on the arc, 1-1 count. And we use heavy bats. They can weigh up to 38 ounces, 34 inches long, 2 1/4 on the barrel. Here's Trump, and he slashes it out toward center, but Chuck Regaldo right on the spot for the first out here in the bottom of the first. We use a 16-inch clincher. It is not, repeat, not a mush ball, and it will retain its firmness throughout the ball game, especially on the turf. And then, of course, we got the strange roof rules. So there's Matt Scott now. The ball hits the roof in fair territory, it's live. If you catch it before it hits the ground, it's an out. If it hits the carpet, it's all the runner can get. So here's Matt Scott. And he draws a 1-out walk here. I'll bring up Julian Russell. Of course, Matt played with Menace last year. And Julian Russell, a dirty 38. So we'll be out here again tomorrow and Wednesday, and next week during the holidays. And Julian punches it to right, right at Mart, and he'll throw it in. And good job there by the catcher running out there and making sure that that throw in didn't start rolling around. So 2 outs now brings up Cody Sopko, the short center. And again, these teams took a lot of batting practice, but then they kind of got iced out while we were waiting for the umpire to show up. Home plate jumping around a little bit. 3-1 count here on Cody. Cody certainly strong enough to go yard here with these short dimensions. Well, Dan, I think the keys always start with your defense. And there's another walk. And I was going to say the second key is, which ties into your defense, is you don't want to walk people. And with a 1-1 count, you would think the pitcher would have an advantage. Dummy's a very good offensive team, one of the best in this Dome League. And they got several guys that it's a real simple prospect for them to go deep. So again, if you're Frank Shaquille, you don't want to walk anybody. And if you're Colin Farley right now, you should be thinking about maybe getting something a little flat and trying to drive it out of here. Because you hate to use those home runs when there's nobody on base. Colin just rakes it fair down the left field line. 1 run is in. Now it gets past the left fielder, and now Colin's going to try to go to third, and just safe. So we'll show you the replay there at the play at third. A new thing we got going here. We can show you the replays. I might have to put a little bit longer tail on it. It only goes back 10 seconds. Here's Brett Winger. So 2 runs are in here. Two-out, 2-run triple by Colin Farley. And Winger hits a soft fly ball running in. Mart makes the basket catch, and that'll be the 3rd out of the inning. But they reclaim, well, they get their first lead, I should say. So I'm going to dig into my settings. I'm going to put a little bit more time on that replay, if I can, to go back a little deeper on it. Well, I think now that we're in the ball game, it won't let me change it. So I got to keep an eye on it tell me what you think about the replays. It's a pretty nice feature. And hopefully I'll get the hang of it. So leading off here, Michael Angi. Then it's going to be Lenny Gonzalo and Ryan Ross. 2-1 ball game here as we enter the top of the second inning.
Hey, let's go, boys. Come on, Mike. Go, boys.
And Mike certainly has cemented himself in as one of the best 16-inch players in the game. Terrific defensively and an offensive force when he's right. Getting back to you, Dan, I think if you're Goodwood, you want to try to play with the lead as much as you can. Knocked down by Russell, and he makes the play. You see Julian with the strong arm there on the replay. That's going to bring up Lenny Gonzalo. Lenny, of course, coming over to Moneyline this year from Players Inc. along with Frank Shaquille. And Lenny's a good-looking offensive player. You know, sometimes when guys play and there's a hard ground ball and he just drives it through the left side for a base hit. And sometimes, not to take anything away from Players Inc., but, you know, that's a team people didn't see a whole lot of. And as a result, some people aren't familiar with them, but I think playing on Moneyline, and there's a ground ball, and they throw to second, call them out. So you'll see on the replay here, very close. Lenny was hustling, and, you know, if he'd have called him safe, I don't know if there would have been an argument. So here's Chuck. Rigaldo now, 2 outs, runner on first. And I've talked about Hector Melendez on the mound. Hector, a very competitive kid. There's one critique to his game. And Chuck, a little chopper back to Hector, and that'll be out number 3. Now, Hector is a very competitive kid. We head to the bottom of the 2. And if there's a critique in his game, it's not from a pitching or a competitive standpoint. It's that he can get distracted on occasion, and a lot of times the guys that have played against him for a long time will try to get into his head and distract him a little bit. But a very fiery dude. So it's going to be Joey Diaz, Mikey Subzinski, and Jeremy Fowler here, bottom of the second. So if you're Goodwood, you'd like to stretch out a little bit and get a lead. We've seen the dummies on occasion. They've had games where they start quick, but they've also had games where they've started slow, and then they've turned around and come back with a fury late. So Joey Diaz leading off here. He hits a long one way back near the fence, and Ryan Ross leaping up. Ball would have been out, but Ryan timed it perfectly, made the catch. And at that 10 seconds, well, there isn't much I can do with that, folks, but we'll get that squared away before tomorrow and put a little more time on it if it allows. Here's Mikey Subzinski. And Mikey, a little ground ball up the middle. Alonji, nicely done. You'll see on the replay, Mike went far to his left, caught the ball, and from a weird angle to a strike. to get the out. So nicely done there by Michael Angie. We told you he was a terrific two-way player. Here's Fowler, 2 up, 2 down. So right now the difference in the game, 2 walks in the bottom of the first that scored. And there's a routine fly ball to center handled by Chuck Regaldo. And we'll head to the third, 2-1.
Hey, right now, boys, let's go.
It'll be Mush Franken on the top with Iggy as we head to the top of the third inning here. So, Nick, did you rewind it and look at it, or were you just saying that when we showed you the replay? We're always fooling around here trying to make the broadcast as good as we can. So I'm kind of in a situation now where I usually hold my lineup cards in my left hand, the stick in the right. So now I'm holding the lineup card in my right so I can get to that replay button. So there's a little ground ball. And short center Cody had plenty of time there and just threw a wild screwball to first. Again, Jeremy trying to stay on the bag there, which here you can do because there's no real foul territory. It hits the net and it just stops. And so as a result, you can go ahead and try to stay on a bag there. And Frank, a little ground ball. This might be, no, just the fielder's choice. Brings up Joey Agardo. But they do get the lead runner. Ball wasn't hit that hard. And as an infielder, you always want to have a little bit of an internal clock in your head when you know the speed of the runners. And there's a little roller. Hector over to Cody. Double play, and that was nicely done. And we'll show you the replay here. Hector got him to chop at a low one, and a very nice turn. Good gun there by Cody. And they get out of the inning with no damage. And we'll heading out of the bottom of the third inning, still 2-1. So nice pitch by Hector. Gave Iggy the hard fake. And then he threw a little dead fish up there, and Iggy went reaching for it. I don't think it was going to even clear the plate at all. And it was tailor-made as he rolled that top hand over.
Anything that he gives us is going to carry. Like the ball that...
So leading off, it's going to be Angel Lozado, and then Hector Melendez in the top with Mike Trump. And those of you that follow us know I'm pretty fond of Angel. And he just chops it over. Little bobble, long throw, not in time. Heads up the line. And Angel's going to get himself to second base. So he hit a little chopper. Lenny had trouble with it. Showed a strong but wild arm on the throw. And Angel ends up on second base. And I would think that Hector might try to go the other way here and push the ball toward right field. And we have seen Hector get some hits to right. Right fielder playing him medium deep in right field. And you can tell by the setup there, he was certainly going to look to push that to the right side to get Jeremy Fowler into third. And there he just creases a base hit. Fowler had to wait on the line drive, and runners on the corner. So Hector Melendez comes through, bottom feeding the top here for Goodwood. And we always talk about how important it is for your bottom to chip in. If you were going to handicap this game, you would have considered the dummies as a slight favorite. And here's Mike Trump. Mike battling a little bit of a sore back tonight. And that ball hits the roof, but Joey Agardo play at the plate wide, and now that's going to allow the run to score, and Subzinski tags and goes to second. That ball hit the roof. Joey Agardo did a great job to get out into short right field. He did make the catch for out number one, and that brings up Matt Scott. So 3-1 right now, Goodwood. And Matt goes the other way, and he punches it through. Subzinski had to wait to make sure it got through the infield. Again, as a base runner, when the ball's hit in front of you like that and you're at second, unless there's a runner on first forcing you to run, you got to make sure. Runner's on the corner now for Julian Russell. So Goodwood set up here. It'll be interesting to see if Julian tries to go deep. And he does try it, long drive, and Ryan Russ makes the catch. Everybody tags, another run scores. So just hit it a little too high. The ball didn't have enough to get out. But with 2 outs, and that's a productive out. He got one in, got one over. And here's Cody. So Goodwood right now playing with a little bit more energy, and that ball gets past the Longy. Another run will score as Cody comes through. And Goodwood right now playing with a lot of enthusiasm, up 5-1. And it brings up Colin Farley. So like I said, Goodwood playing with a lot of energy. Every single guy on the team except Kaz is standing up. Again, these are the playoffs, so it's win or go home. Mush trying to do the no-look throw to first for the pickoff, not in time. And that pitch is deep, and there's a walk. So that's the third walk of the game for Frank Shaquille. And it brings up big Brett Winger. And Brett's a guy that can hit it 300. So this spark is not big enough for him. I might have to go to the replay if he launches. And he tried for it, but a little dead fish, and Joey Agardo way out from his second base spot, got way out there and made the catch. But they do push 3 across. They go up 5-1 as we head to the top of the 4th inning.
5-1. Let's go.
So 5-1 ball game here as we approach the halfway mark. Brett Winger tried to go for it and just a little shy. So right now, if you're Goodwood, the game's going the way you'd like it. You're jumped out ahead here. But 2, 3, 4 coming up for the dummies. Mart, Rieger, and Vito. And as we approach that halfway mark, if you're the dummies, you'd like to go. And there's a high drive, and it is gone. So Mart leaned on that pretty good. And that ball saw the right fielder try to get there, but to no avail.
Down 3, let's go. No outs. Hey, let's go. Hey, one at a time.
That is, however, the second home run that the Dummies have hit in the game. And they're both solo shots. And you might have seen the hitter kind of hit the bat on the turf. I don't think he was trying to go out of here, but and Rieger knocked down by Angel. He recovers in time. Nice play there by Angel as he slapped it down, stayed with it, and threw a strike. So first out of the inning, and that goes back to that keys of the game. No, that was a replay, new feature. And here's Vito, and he slashes it right at Subzinski. Long throw in time. So Mikey Subzinski, oh, excuse me. Sorry, got a little excited there. And Alonji trying to walk the dog, but that's going to go out of play. Sorry, folks, what can I say? I'm just overly exuberant at times. So 5-2 ball game here. Full count now. And Alonji slashes it up the middle for a base hit. And it brings up Lenny. Lenny, another guy, got a lot of pop. But you've already used 2. I'm not sure if this early in the ball game you want to have 3 of them already used if Lenny should go deep. Now, if he gets on and Ryan Russ comes up, that would be a different story. With 2 runners on, you'll take that. And Lenny, little ground ball right to Julian Russell, pitch and catch for out number 3. And of course, Julian, a very smooth shortstop, so that play was pretty easy. So halfway through, we got ourselves a 5-2 ball game. Well, thanks for the kind words. So it's going to be Jeremy Diaz, Mikey Subzinski, and Jeremy Fowler here, bottom of the 4th inning. If you're Goodwood, you got to keep tacking on, and there's a humpback base hit for Diaz. Nicely done there as he humpbacked the line drive just over the infielder, leading off the inning. And it brings up Subzinski. Made a nice play, ranging up the middle earlier in the ball game. And Mikey, line drive, Rieger got some hands on it. Couldn't make the catch, but he slowed it up enough where they got the easy fielder's choice. Great effort there by Chris Rieger. Dummy's throwing a little leather around. Brings up Jeremy Fowler now. Jeremy hits a soft fly ball. Chuck Regaldo, easy catch. Chuck, a very strong arm out there, so no opportunity to tag. And it brings up Angel Lozado. Little ground ball over to Lenny at third last time up, and Lenny had some issues with it and threw the ball away. Subzinski runs pretty good. Any type of a long stretch single, he might be able to score. And Mikey's being very aggressive on his secondary lead here. And Angel swings, high fly ball will stay in the park though. Ryan Russ makes the catch. So we're going to head to the fifth inning. So the game started late, but it's so far been flying by. 5-2 here. Dummy's coming to bat. It'll be Ryan Russ, Chuck Regaldo, Mush. Anybody gets on. Frank, bottom four hitters in the lineup here. And Goodwood's been very solid so far in this ball game. They've turned to double play. Hector, I think, has walked one guy, but it didn't matter. He pitched over it. So here's Ryan Russ. Of course, Ryan flashback, and he pounds it toward the alley, and it'll get down. Ryan Russ will get a stand-up double. So Ryan just hammered it right into the gap you see on the replay, and Ryan runs very, very well. I think sometimes because he's a left fielder, I don't think people realize just how quick he is. But he's one of our better defensive outfielders in 16-inch softball. Human highlight reel. Here's Chuck Regaldo. And there's a little chopper. Subzinski only had one play. He does move the runner over. And Mikey is a very solid infielder. That ball was kind of chopped. He knew that Ryan Russ would be running the minute the ball got past the pitcher on the right side. And he had no chance. So here's Mush. Dummy's a little threat here. Good pitch there by Hector, jumping ahead. Jeremy Fowler's about 9 feet off the line here, and a little high chopper. Julian Russell calls it. Ryan Russ is going to try it, and he's safe. So you see on the replay, Julian got it, didn't really get squared away, and he bounced the throw in. Otherwise, I think Ryan Russ could have been out there. But it's 5-3, and it brings up Frank Shaquille. And Frank drives it toward the alley, and that ball is going to be it's going to stay in the park, and he thought about going to third. Frank Shaquille just pounded it. Short hopped off the fence there. Easy stand-up double. So now you got your top up. It's a 5-3 ball game. Base hit here could make it 5-4. So Frank isn't really known as a guy that's going to lean on the ball and drive it, but he did that time. And Joey goes toward the gap in right center, and Brett Winger cruises over, made it look easy. So just a hair too much air. Goes as a long fly out, 5-3. The game a little closer as we head to the bottom of the fifth. So again, if you're Goodwood, at one point you were up 5-1, and the dummies just kind of sneaking back a little at a time here. So it looks like they're going to pinch it for Hector with Anthony Kaz. And then it'll be the top of the lineup. It's always interesting. They hit for Hector, but he had a base hit his last time up. And we did a game a little while back where they hit for him his second time. He had to swing the third time or he would have been out of the game, and he delivered a hit. So I don't think it's that they lack any real confidence in Hector. I just think that when guys come out, you want to try to get them in. And there's a ground ball, and Lenny, nice pick up there.
Come on, Mike.
So Lenny handled the ball fine, but then he bounced the throw, and you see Chris Rieger with the nice dig. So top of the lineup now, nobody on for Mike Trump. And there's a little short flare, long run, and Vito running out there made the catch. Might have been some confusion. It looked like Chuck could have made the play, but I think Vito was calling him off, and he kind of pinned that up against his right shoulder a little bit. So here's Matt Scott. And I've talked on some other broadcasts that
Go have fun, Matty.
And there's a strike. Flattens out. Matt tried to go big, but it'll stay in the park for the third out. So Frank Jekyll has settled down a little bit after some early wildness. And we'll head to the top of the sixth.
Somebody get on three. Let's go. Come on, Marty. I got it. Go ahead. You want Marty?
And it'll be 2-3-4 coming up here for the dummies. But we have commented a little bit earlier out here that Goodwood's offense, when you look at their team, they should be generating more runs. And for some reason, offense is just a hair inconsistent at times. They led 5-1 after 2. Haven't really done much in the third, fourth, or fifth. And Mart pounds it, and that was a lot tougher catch than it looked, folks. As the right fielder, Colin Farley, that ball had a lot of sinkage on it, and he actually had to go down to a knee to make the catch. So Colin Farley with a nice play to start the inning. Both teams have been good defensively. 2-run difference in the game are the 2 walks in the first that Frank Jekyll gave up. Both scored. Here's Chris Rieger. And Chris, and a nice play by Hector. That's worth a replay. As Chris drove it up the middle, and he just kind of volleyballed it to himself and one-handed it. So nicely done there by Hector.
Pick me up.
And I think even Hector's smiling a little bit. And here's Vito. And Vito, that ball does not hit the roof. Colin Farley makes the catch, and we'll head to the bottom of the sixth, 5-3. Looking ahead to the seventh, it'll be Michael Angi, Lenny Cazzalo, and Ryan Russ, 5, 6, 7, if you're a dummy fan. And right now, if you're Goodwood, you just really got to focus in. You got 2, 3, 4 coming up. Or excuse me, 3, 4, 5. You got Julian Russell, Cody Sopko, Carlin Farley. You really got to dial it in here, and you got to figure out a way to get yourself 1 or 2 runs. Because a 2-run lead heading into the seventh is not going to be in your comfort level. And they got home runs to play with. Yeah, Carly, I'll be out here tomorrow and Wednesday. So we are in the playoffs, do or die. And there's a swing, but it's going to drift way foul. So Julian trying to walk that dog, let the ball get a little deep on him. By the time he turned his body, he had that barrel pointing straight down to the ground. Coupled with the inside-out action on the swing, that ball had no shot at staying fair. And there's a little ground ball, and it sneaks underneath the third baseman. So Lenny laid out for it. And the ball went right underneath his arms into left. So leadoff single here for Cody. We've seen Cody go deep a couple of times this winter session. So we know he has the capability. If I'm not mistaken, he went twice in a game, but this time he drives it toward the alley. Julian got a great look. Now they throw to the wrong base, and Cody belly flops in the third. Yeah, I got to put more time on the replay. But we got a good view of the belly flop. So second and third, nobody out here. And here's Colin. So ideally,
Not you.
if you do it right, you could get a minimum of 2, and that's off of Lenny into no man's land. A run will score, runner advances. So they pick up 1 insurance, still only 1 out here. Or there might be nobody out. Nobody out. First 3 hitters reach for Brett Winger. And here's the thing, Brett has more than enough power to get out of here, but a lot of times hitters will swing at bad pitches. And so you have to kind of stay disciplined. Because you don't want to end up topping it or just popping it up. And there he goes deep, long drive, stays in the park, 1 run will score. He just got underneath it a little bit. He does drive a run in, makes it a 7-3 ball game here in the bottom of the sixth. Still only 1 out here. Brings up Joey Diaz with Mikey Subzinski on deck. So Goodwood playing a solid ball game up to this point. Again, if you had a handicap coming in, you would think that they might be slight dogs, but they're playing good. And there's a high fly ball to Chuck Regaldo. And strong throw. I think he would have made it just because it was a late hop there. But Colin Farley didn't want to get doubled off. Played it safe. And now there's 2 outs. Colin will be running on the swing. Mikey can hit that stretch single up the alley, might drive in the 8th run here. Collins getting a good lead. Secondary, and that ball off the pitcher. Vito, a little trouble. And now he throws home, and that's going to let Subzinski go to second. I think Frank Shaquille might have got a hand on that. Vito does have monster range up the middle, but it got deflected away from him. Second and third now. And Jeremy Fowler could really put the dummies in a box here if he comes through with a base hit. Angel Lozado on deck, but it looks like they're going to pinch hit for him. Will DeAndre, I believe, has grabbed the bat. And there's a walk, so Frank Shaquille's 4th walk of the ball game loads it up. And now if you're Will DeAndre, grand slam right here, could make it 11-3. And one thing's for sure, Jeremy Fowler's never met a stop sign he wouldn't run through. And Will DeAndre drives it toward the gap, and a little confusion there, but Mart holds on. But they do pick up a couple of runs, and we're going to head to a do-or-die 7th right now, as the dummies need 4 to keep the game going, 5 to take a lead, anything less, and Goodwood will advance. Again, these are the playoffs. It's win or go home. And just as a reminder, we got the holidays, Christmas coming up next week. So we're deep into the holiday season now, but next Friday, the 27th, I was corrected by Steve Rodriguez over the weekend. I guess I was telling everybody it was the 26th. And Alonji swings and he hammers it way foul. It would have been way out, but way foul. Again, the dummies already got 2. And they need some base runners. And Mike takes that pitch a little deep for that height. And Mike Alonji, line drive, but right at Julian Gutierrez, Russell, at Julian Gutierrez, Russell, for a very loud first out here in the 7th. Again, you're down 4. You need some base runners. So Goodwood's played good defense. They haven't walked anybody. 2 of the keys. And there's a bullet up the middle, base hit. And again, that's all you can do if you're the dummies. You got to string some singles together and then hopefully use your 2 home runs that are left judiciously. Now Ryan Russ is a little deceptive. I don't think people think of him as a power hitter, but he does have a little. And there he just tried to flip the other way, and that's going to be foul. So it grazed the roof on the way out there. I like Ryan's approach there. He's just trying to get himself on base. And the right fielder was shading him toward the gap. Had a lot of space there, just didn't execute the swing. And Hector's working him over. First pitch was way up in the air. That pitch was a little flat and inside. I think he was trying to get Ryan to yank a foul ball, and Ryan tries to go big. It'll stay in the park, no tag. And they're down to their last out here. So if Chuck can't keep it going here, the dummies will be eliminated. And Goodwood will advance. And again, if you're Chuck, you're just trying to keep the game alive. And there's a screamer out toward the alley. Nobody's going to get to it. Ground rule double. So Chuck drove it into the alley for a double. Keeps the game alive. They need one more base runner here to make it a little more interesting, and it brings up Mush. I'm not sure, Junior. I did get a schedule from Frank, but I didn't map it out. He texted it to me late afternoon. I didn't have time to really go through it. And they may have two fields going tomorrow. So, of course, we're going to try to show you as much of the action as we can. And we will try to show you more than one game tomorrow. And then when we get to Wednesday with the Final Four, we will show you two games. So we'll probably show you whoever's playing on what will be the championship diamond in the semi and then in the championship game. So they're down to their last out here, runner on second, trailing by 4. And there's a little roller, and Hector will take it himself. So Goodwood, great defensive effort. They put up 7. They made it hold up, and they advanced. The dummies are out. And we're going to be back here tomorrow night with probably more than one game streamed. I got to take a look. I don't know if they've got 2 or 3 time slots, but I thought Frank said they might have both diamonds. So we'll check on that. And we hope you enjoyed the replay. I got to put a little more time on it. But just trying to make the broadcast as fun as we can. So on behalf of the SSA, this is Gio saying thanks for tuning in. Be safe wherever you are. We love you. And